Hey, what's up, you guys? It's your girl JoJo, and I am here with the review for Little Fires Everywhere, Season 1, Episode 5. I hope that you all have had the opportunity to catch up by now so that we can talk about it. Today is Sunday. I know it is very late, but this show comes on the same night as Married at First Sight, which I'm also reviewing, and so it's really hard for me to watch that very long show. Do the review for that show. Usually I'm pretty done with after Married at First Sight, and if y'all watch those videos, then y'all understand why I am completely done after I do that review. But hopefully I can start getting these up by Friday. I think Friday is a realistic time for me to review the show and get the video up, so let's hope for that. It is Sunday though, and y'all notice the bag. Okay, I had to get to it, so that's why this video is a little bit later in the evening. And of course I gotta go to the bathroom because I've been moving all day, and I didn't use it in any of the stores because, like I said, I was on the move. So now I'm trying to rush to get through 2 videos so I can get home and finally go to the bathroom. Okay, so let's talk. So I know that most people have access to Hulu. If you don't, phone a friend so that you can watch the show. I'm willing to give out my login information, but it depends on who asks for it. Like, we got to talk about it first. We got to talk privately about it first. And then, we'll see. Because if it's a bunch of people, it's a no. But, one person, maybe. But I want you guys to watch it so we can have a discussion. It's going to be less of a review, more of a discussion, all right? So not as in-depth as I would do for another show. So we start out with Elena and her old boo, who is clearly not her husband, but they are, I'm guessing, studying abroad or doing some type of internship. They're not in Shaker. We know that. So it's time for them to come back. Her mom is coming to pick them up, and he doesn't want to leave yet. And she was just like, well, we pretty much got, jobs in the bag at the Shaker Times. Me and you, we have a plan. And he says, well, what about another plan? What about the New York Times? So I'm guessing they're in New York, but I feel like I heard somebody say Paris. I don't know. Either way, he is not ready to go. She is, and he needed to make a choice, and we obviously probably know what that choice is because Elena is with her husband and these 4 children living in Shaker, and that man is not there. So a choice was made on that day. So then we flash forward to the present, and let's talk about the 2 storylines that are going on right now. All right. So we have Mirabelle's mama, because I can't remember that lady's name, who is receiving 1-hour visitation with the daughter. The adoptive mother is very stressed by it. She doesn't want to let the child go, even though it's only a 1-hour visitation. And I got a little bit of y'all's thoughts last week. Some of y'all feel like the adoptive mother should be the one to keep the baby because she is in the best position. And that's true. Mirabelle is stealing money out of registers. She's an illegal immigrant. She seems to speak very broken English, so she's going to have a long way to go before she really does have the money to afford to take care of her child unless she receives some type of assistance. And the adoptive mother is in definitely a much better position and can get Mirabelle greater access to the things that she needs, especially growing up. So I see that side of it, but then there's that, I don't have any children, so I don't know why I always say this, but there's the mother that's buried deep down in me, it's deep, y'all, okay? Somewhere in me, that mothering thing, I can't imagine longing for my child being there and not being apart. And I'm sure she'll be able to visit, but you get what I'm saying? There's just this longing to have your child, right? So, anyway, you kind of feel the adoptive mother's pain because she had a stillborn child. That, I don't know how people recover from that. I don't know how people recover from a stillborn, developed baby going through the labor, going through the bonding, because you bond from the very beginning. Right when you find out you're pregnant, sometimes you're bonding and you don't even know you're pregnant yet. You can feel that. That's what look at me again acting like I got some children, but that is what the science and the research tells us, that you bond even while your baby's in utero. So when people be like, just give it up for adoption, I'm like, do you guys not read? You bond with your children even in pregnancy, you already feel this attachment. So it's not just as simple as, I don't know you, I'm passing you off. I already feel like I know you somewhat. Okay. And that's probably not with every pregnancy, but that's just, you know, what the scientists and whatnot tell us. So I feel her pain, because it again feels like something that you wanted really bad is being ripped from you. And I've heard that the adoption process is very lengthy, time consuming. It can be very painful when things don't work out. And I just can't imagine going through something like this again and again and again and again and again. So I felt bad for her. I did. But she looks up and she sees Mia in her car looking from a distance. And I can't figure out why Mia was sitting in her car so close. Now, granted, she might have dropped Mirabelle Mama off, but after that, you need to get gone, because your car was noted in the investigation, in the police report. So, of course, she recognizes that car. She runs up to it. She sees Mia in it. Mia drives off. And I had a problem with that. I'm not going to lie. Mia is very, confrontational any other time. She will say what she has to say to anybody else. At that point in time, I believe she should have faced old girl, okay, and let her know what was up. But I guess because there's a police report out, she probably doesn't want to be involved with the police, given the things that she has going on, which we're going to talk about later. So that's probably why she drove off. Okay, so once the mother finds out that Mia's car and Mia is involved, she reaches out to Elena and she blames her. She feels like Elena set her up and was involved and knew what was going on prior to trying to pay the girl off, which made them look even worse. And she's pissed. Elena feels like Mia infiltrated everybody's life and is causing drama and stirring up trouble and came here to do so. So I need to find out more about who she is. I need to do my research. The husband is trying to figure out why Elena has such a hard on for Mia. He doesn't really get it. He doesn't understand why research is going to be conducted. Like, it's a whole parking lot. Why is this lady driving over here near Mia not minding her business? Why? See, that's what I be talking about. Like, I'm nowhere near the establishment. I don't understand why people, y'all making a video too. Why y'all driving over here? Okay, get back on track. So, what was I saying? She wants to do her research. So as they're talking about Mia and saying all these things about Mia, Izzy is at the table and she's looking through the newspaper and she sees in the New York Times that a painting has been sold. She recognizes that painting as Mia pregnant in a bathtub because she was snooping around and saw it, remember? But she recognizes the painting and it was sold to a New York hotel. So she turns around and she's just like, she's none of those things that you're saying. She's a really good person. And Elena's just like, what? How do you know? Because I have been at her house and I've been working with her and she's been teaching me art and she's very interesting. And Elena was just like, see, did you know about this? Did you know about this? And I'm just thinking to myself, how is it that mother and father don't know where Izzy's going after school? Like, I'm sure it's hard to keep up with 4 teenagers, but... And this was before cell phones got popping like that. But I know Pages was out. I know for sure Pages was out. And my mama, even before I had a cell phone, because I was probably in about the 10th grade. Here she come again. Before I had a cell phone. But even before then, my mom would call the house around the time that she knew I should be getting off the bus and see if I was home, or even if I were to go to somebody else's house, I needed to call from their house phone, okay, not from no other number. Call me when you get there, or if I have to call you, that's going to be a problem. But when I call that house at 4 o'clock, you better be picking up. If not, I will be leaving work, and if I leave work, it's going to sure enough be a problem. So my mom knew where I was, unless you just outright lie, which they could be doing, but it just seemed like too much freedom, all right? So anyway, Elena tells her, you are forbidden to go over there. To which Izzy responds, are you just mad because Mia's in the New York Times and you will never be? And she plops the paper down of the painting and how famous, okay, I guess, Mia is. And of course, that's a dagger for Elena for a lot of reasons, because she missed her opportunity to be that kind of journalist. Number one, she traded that life. And number two, my daughter seems to be looking up to this woman and can't stand me. So now she really got to do her research. Now it's less about why is she here, and I think more about revenge. What do y'all think? I think I feel a little revenge coming. So she goes over to her husband and tells her husband she's going to be in New York for 2 days doing her research. So she gets to work and she's trying to find out about this painting. What she does find out is what hotel it was sold to, whose work it was, who the professor was, what school it was, and from there she's going to see if Mia is on the roster at that school. Now when we see the professor and we see the photo of the professor, we recognize her to be the woman that shows up in Mia's visions. What's that actress's name? It's not Yaya. I know it's not her, but what is her name? I really like her. I like her face. But she's a good actress too. But dark skin, braids, and we recognize her from Mia's vision, so we know there may have been some type of relationship there, or friendship, or something. There was something there. So in recognizing her, we know that Mia's attached to her, and we know that Elena is on to something. So when she gets to New York, she's continuing her research, finds out her name was, finds a lady on the roster named Mia Wright, okay, bribed the records lady with, what was it, donuts or cookies? I said, you know, that really go to show that the obesity problem in America is very, very bad if somebody can bribe you to look at private records like that. But Mia Wright is who she finds on the roster, and she starts to think maybe that's Mia's maiden name. So again, she's researching, digging around, and she decides to get a little bit of help. And she receives this help in the form of her old work, okay, that old boo. And, you know, he's aged well, okay, and he tells Elena she looks good. He's working at the New York Times. He's still a bachelor, married to work. She's, you know, husband up, 4 children, but I need your help on something. And so she gives him the file, and she says, maybe to thank you, I can, I don't know, you know, take you out to this, take you out to lunch, or take you out to dinner. And so he was just like, yeah. So they're gonna go out to dinner. Okay, so gotta keep an eye on that, right? So they do go out to dinner and they order the champagne, and when it's time to pay, Elena pulls out her card, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, your husband is gonna see this bill, I'm sure. And then how are you gonna explain that? I mean, who were you out with spending this kind of money? Because I'm sure they spent a pretty penny. But he is able to get her information on a Warren, who is Mia's brother, but not really too much information on Mia herself. But now she knows that Mia got the last name Warren from her brother's first name. And there's a pretty thick file on the brother. All right. So after dinner, they have a conversation, and I'm doing a recap, right? But when they have the conversation, you think to yourself that maybe something's going to go on, and they're going to go back to the room together, which she does invite him. But he ends up calling her a narcissist and saying that she hasn't changed because he ran out on her. You know, she left him. All right, you still the exact same person that has to have it your way. Why did you even come here? And it seems Elena came there for a couple of reasons. Yes, she wanted to find out about Mia. Yes, she wanted to seek revenge, because I think it's mostly about revenge and painting her in a bad light. But she also wanted to see what she missed out on. She wanted to see that other life that she didn't choose, okay? And she's completely caught up in her life at home now. That is your life now, so you can forget about all this other stuff. So he dismisses her. She gets up in the middle of the night with her file, and she ends up finding Mia's parents, and that's kind of where the cliffhanger ends. So what do you guys think we're going to find out? This is what I think. I think that Mia was, I think she was raped. I think she was raped by that gentleman that she keeps having these visions about, who is probably Pearl's father. I think she had intended to put Pearl up for adoption, did not go through with the adoption, and instead just left the state with her daughter, and hasn't been seen since, and is hiding out not only from her own family, but also this guy who raped her, who may be out of jail, or maybe she never reported. I don't know. But I don't know how the professor plays into it. That's the only thing. So y'all let me know what y'all think. I don't know. If you read the book, don't tell me. But if you haven't and you're going off of the show, let me know what y'all think. So running concurrently with this, we got Lexi. And child, if I ain't call it, I ain't call it. Lexi is pregnant. All right. And we all knew that was going to happen. We all saw it coming. We got Pearl in the bathroom looking at the pregnancy test. We got Lexi trying to figure out what's up. And Pearl, still trying to be a good friend to Lexi, says it's going to be okay. So before all this started, I want to note that Pearl had asked if Lexi could, I don't know if they were on the phone, but she wanted to, meet up with Lexi because she was banned from going to Lexi's house. To which Mia responded, she's not even your friend. I don't even know why you want to be dealing with any of them. She's not your friend. She's interested in what you can do for her. She's not interested in being your friend. Pearl doesn't believe that, okay? So keep that in mind. Lexi does, in a way, try to tell her boyfriend, but she doesn't really tell him. She basically just kind of gauges how he would feel if she were to get pregnant. And he was just like, oh, no, that would ruin everything. I would be a statistic. As a matter of fact, you need to be on birth control. And, it's interesting the way that this whole story is playing out. Because while Elena is somewhere longing for the past and doing research on people, her daughter is going through a teenage crisis, one of the worst kind, right? Her daughter, who was bragging about feeling so grown up and mature because she was having sex, obviously, I'm not gonna say she didn't receive the sex talk, but I think a lot of us get the sex talk without getting the woman talk. You know what I mean? Like, we get don't get pregnant, we get safety, we get STDs, we get anatomy, but what we don't get is the conversation about sex. It can be enjoyable, right? You can throw caution to the wind. These are the type of things that will be said to you and given to you. There are false narratives that are going to be created that aren't really true, such as, withdrawal and things of that nature. Which I know that's debatable for some people, but y'all know what I mean when we're talking teenagers. And there's just so many things that we don't talk about with just being a woman, and the things that you feel and the things that you desire and what kind of positions it could put you in, and how you want to keep yourself out of being in certain situations because you want to create the best future for yourself and your future children. Instead of the "you better not bring no babies in here" threat, talk more about what happens in childbirth, what it's like to be a mother, what those things give you, what they create in you, how it matures you, and how you have to be ready for that thing. You know what I'm talking about? That mommy thing is serious, right? And I just don't think it gets talked about in the right way. Sometimes I think it just kind of gets held over your head as a threat. So you almost end up more curious about why everybody doesn't want you to do it and less precautious. Okay, you want to be precautious of your sexuality, but not afraid of your sexuality, if that makes sense. So we get that, right? So she doesn't tell her boyfriend. She decides to get an abortion. And I gotta say, I know everybody's gonna disagree with me. I felt bad for Lexi this episode. I did. I know. She is a spoiled brat. But Lexi is a teenager, you guys. And I think sometimes the older we get, we act like we were never young. Like we just did it all right. And we had it all together. And we had it all figured out. And couldn't nobody tell us nothing. And I know you guys were the greatest teenagers in the world, but I'm going to tell you I wasn't. Okay? And, I made good grades and all of that, but I definitely was naive about so many things in so many situations. And so I felt bad for her because I think it was her own naivete that led her to where she was. And that naivete doesn't come, I'm not going to say unwarranted, but that it's not a surprise because her mother is also very naive. And it's looking at her mother that we know the conversations weren't had. Her mother couldn't even discuss the vagina monologues. She couldn't even say vagina. So do you think that this is a woman who really sat down and discussed sex with her daughter? Absolutely not. She got anatomy, and she got don't get pregnant. If she got that, she probably got one of them chastity rings or something. Is that still a thing? She probably got that. You know, and I knew people in high school who were having sex with their, you know, ring on. Oh, child. Okay. So anyway, it's not funny. But I felt bad for her because her naivete had led her to where she was. And it was unfortunate because I can't imagine, you know, I'm sure it was difficult, right? I'm sure it was cringeworthy. I'm sure it makes you want to cry. I'm sure you feel the guilt. And yes, to a lot of people, that is a selfish decision. They don't care how old you are. But I will say that I expect young people and teens and really young people, I almost expect a level of selfishness out of them. And the reason why is because ultimately, you guys, they're children. They're children. It may seem like they understand certain concepts, but sometimes I think as adults, we put that on them, right? We put on them that, well, you should be doing this, this, and this, and you should understand this. And sometimes they're very adult and grown problems. And of course, as you're coming into your senior and junior years, yes, you want to start building them up to be young adults, but you don't want to just lay and throw life. Life was thrown on me at an early age, like 15. And I always felt myself feeling like adult-like problems. And sometimes when you feel adult problems, you start engaging in very adult behavior because everybody treats you like you're grown, right? And then when you get yourself caught up, they want you to be a child. See, it's very dicey. And so you have to find that delicate balance between forming up young adults, but also allowing them to grow, allowing them to be children. Now, granted, now getting pregnant is some people don't like to call it a mistake, but it's, you know, in your teenage life, it's definitely a big faux pas, right? But you have to, I don't know, like, I don't want to say I'm saying you should just allow your kids to get pregnant. I'm saying allow them room to still have their youth and still be children while teaching them things to prepare them from adulthood in hopes that they don't make this mistake. But I expect children to be absorbed in themselves. I do, because they're children. And part of teaching them to be young adults and helping them to grow, you give them little things. You know, you show them what it means to be caring of other people and, you know, like respect and manners, all things Lexi doesn't know. And we can tell by the way that Mia ended up reading her at the end of this episode. But you show them in the little things, not in the, well, you know, one day you're going to have to be a parent. So, you know, you're going to help me with your brother and sister. And, you know, those are not, those are very adult-like problems, right? But saying, hey, I'm going to teach you how to cook, or, you know, you need to be courteous in this way, or we're going to do volunteer work so I can show you what it means to care about other people other than yourself. You know what I'm talking about? I just sometimes think we throw things at children and then wonder why they behave so grown. I don't know. I don't think I executed that well, but it was right in my head. So anyway, Lexi can't put her name on the paperwork because her vagina monologue of Elena's friend that wanted to read that, she works there. And so she can't put her name on the paperwork. She puts Pearl's name. When Pearl gets there to comfort her as a good friend, she skips school. Pearl hears her name being called, and she realizes that Lexi really that's a betrayal. That's a betrayal. And Lexi's just like, I'm sorry. Then, to make it even worse, okay, shout out to Future, she doesn't have anywhere to go. She can't go home, okay, because her parents are going to know that something's wrong. Her dad is. So she goes to Pearl's house. And Mia is nursing her through her abortion, right? The irony. While her mother is off researching Mia's there taking care of what would be Elena's business, okay? And so Mia ends up reading Lexi from the windows to the wall, and it was harsh, but she deserved it. She deserved it, and she needed to hear it because, you know, she has been so all Lexi self-consuming. And like I said, I expect for teenagers to have a little bit of selfishness in them, but part of our job, and I'm going to say me too, even though I ain't got no kids, part of our job as parents is to trickle some of that information in them as they grow along, giving it to them gradually. Okay, volunteer work, community service, those type of things. Just giving it to them, caring for brothers and sisters, not in a way where you a parent, but just little things to show that you care about other people, instilling that in you so that you can learn and grow to be less selfish as you become an adult person. But that hasn't been done with Lexi. Okay, she's gotten everything she wanted. She's used to getting everything she wanted. She uses people to her benefit, like she used Pearl. And again, I'm really glad to see the dynamic of mother and daughter relationship coming back between Pearl and Mia. Pearl is asking questions about her father. Mia is doing her best to answer them, but it's not really going well. Luckily, they get a phone call from Trip. Okay, and Pearl goes to meet Trip out, to which Trip admits that he really does like her. She does reveal to her mother that they had sex, and Mia took it well, because, honey, if it was my daughter, I probably would have fainted. But she was just like, Trip? And Pearl says, I thought it would be easy and fun. Okay, again, old to be a teenager, right? But it wasn't like that. And so I guess her and Trip are going to have a relationship. You know, I still think it's not a good look, okay? But teenagers gonna teen, right? So do what you do. But y'all let me know what y'all thought. Did you feel any kind of way for Lexi? I felt kind of bad. I did. I don't know. Maybe something wrong with me. I also felt bad for Pearl for, being such a good friend and being betrayed in that manner. I wouldn't F with her no more after this. That's just me, though. But she probably will. And how do you feel about Pearl and Trip? I would have definitely chosen Moody, but maybe that's just the grown woman in me coming out. So y'all let me know what you thought about the episode. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we will be back for the next one. Okay? All right. Bye.